Hello and welcome, everybody. This is Stephanie Anderson of StephanieLAnderson.com. And today I am with Mr. Rodney Barnett, world renowned trichologist and educator, and my partner. Hi, Rodney.
Hello, Stephanie, and to all of those that will be viewing this video.
I'm so excited because this is, again, another installation of our brand new video series entitled Overcoming Obstacles in the Hair Loss Industry. And we're going to be primarily doing little snippets of different topics that we really believe is going to be beneficial to those who are practicing within the industry. However, they feel like there's a disconnect or they're not really navigating those choppy waters, streamlining, very easily. So this topic that we chose today, I think is awesome. And why better is not best? Why better? Most of the time we think that if you get something better than something else, that it has to be the next best thing. But we're going to show the viewer and the listener why that is not necessarily so. So Rodney, share.
Well, you've heard the old saying, good, better, best. Who wouldn't want best? Okay, I would choose best all the time over something that was just good. Okay, but what we're talking about is the application of better is not best when it comes to primarily generalized knowledge. Okay, because generalized knowledge, Stephanie, has never generated anyone any income. Now, let me clarify that. It doesn't mean it's wasted time for anyone that pursues education. What I'm saying is, if education is not applied in any field that we endeavor to go into so that we can generate income, then it hasn't generated one dime for us. So when we talk about better is not best, we're talking about generalized knowledge versus specialized knowledge. Now, what do we mean when we say that, Stephanie?
Yes, I was going to ask that you have formulated a great concept and format of a program in which specialized knowledge is the focal point. So would you please, for those who are not familiar with the definition of specialized knowledge, please provide that.
Right. What we've done, Stephanie, is we've done a little test. You and I, at the beginning of each of our presentations, when we're at various shows throughout the year, when we're talking about the major hair shows, we'll always start off by asking people how much money did they generate, the previous year or maybe even that year, And when they give us those figures, they're nowhere near what their potential are, what they can generate. Okay. And then we'll come back and then we'll ask, how many of you think by getting more education, in other words, going to other classes while you're here at the show, will generate you more money? Okay. And 95% of the hands will go up. And then we'll say, well, then this must be your first show. And then they'll all just kind of be baffled when we give them that question. And then we'll say, because if you think that getting more education makes you more money, why didn't you raise your hand when we threw out figures that could be generated within the hair loss industry? See, now that opens it up for them to really be able to understand by doing something better doesn't necessarily mean, quote unquote, it's going to generate the revenue for you. So is it better to just get more generalized education, or is it better to get specialized education that can generate you a certain amount of money and then navigate and stay on course? Now, you and I, we always discuss the McDonald's, philosophy. When Ray Kroc first got involved with the McDonald brothers, one thing he realized is he saw a market that people loved the Big Mac. And guess what he did from that point on? That was in 1954. He never, ever tried to improve the Big Mac. He already had a wheel. And so he never spent the rest of his life trying to reinvent the wheel. He spent the rest of his life trying to get that wheel in as many hands as possible. So if we would just take that same philosophy, that it's not necessarily that we have to be better at what it is that we do, Stephanie. It's just that we have to take a philosophy or a formula that is designed to generate, and in this case, we're talking about a $500,000 concept that's been designed, and just be able to work within that $500,000 concept. Now, unless you need 5 million or 10 million or 20 million, then the only thing that means is you do need to do what? Do what Ray Kroc did, and that is open up more hair restoration centers.
Yes.
But if you're going to start with your first, understand then that once you understand the concept, then work within the structure of that concept. And don't get distracted. Don't get distracted by thinking, oh, I have to continuously take color classes. Oh, I've got to continuously take haircutting classes. Oh, I need to continuously, take a braiding class. When your concept now is focusing in on hair loss and the millions of people out there that need your services.
And that's just it, Rodney, that it is a systematic approach. Whereas once people actually understand and they start to make application of it, and the thing about it is, it's not going to happen overnight, even some of the figures that we talk about. And I think that's what happens. Sometimes people get discouraged and they revert back to what they know. But if they're able to keep on pursuing using the program and the information that is given to them with the specialized knowledge, then they can achieve that. And we know, as we always have used that case study of McDonald's, that Ray Kroc was a visionary. And he actually took the McDonald's, his last name was not McDonald's, it was Kroc.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? His last name wasn't even McDonald.
He was able to take that business from the McDonald's brothers because he understood that concept and he was able to actually apply it. Now, we know that there's some better burgers. I'm living in South Texas, and Whataburger, Wendy's, and some others may come to mind. But for year after year, decades, and so forth, McDonald's has always continually to have been the number one, and it's not because they have the best burger.
And in my presentations, I will always ask, how many here in this class can actually make a better hamburger for either your kids if they wanted you to make a hamburger for them, your husband, or any other person, within the household? If they just said, make me a hamburger, I would always ask, how many in here can make a better hamburger than McDonald's? Well, just about everybody's hands is going up because, as you just said, everybody realizes McDonald's doesn't make the best hamburger. But guess what I'll always conclude with? Why is McDonald's a billionaire and you're not? You think about what you just said. Think about all the little greasy spoons. I know when I was coming up, think about the little greasy spoons that we went to, the little mom and pop, type operation that really, really put love into their burgers. Okay. And when you ate that burger, oh man, you were almost ready to order another burger, right?
Yes.
Did they ever become millionaires?
No.
Never became millionaires. They probably made just enough good living in order to keep them going out there working for someone. But Ray Kroc's visionary was not spending all of his life trying to make a better burger, but using a structure, a foundation. And Stephanie, that's where you and I can really help the student, the hairdresser who comes to our presentation, is helping them to be able to understand that better is not best. You can get all the knowledge in the world in what it is that you have to offer them and what it is that I have to offer them that makes the $500,000 concept. But unless they put the structure into play on how they're going to generate that $500,000 and they get distracted with other types of generalized knowledge, then guess what? Then they'll be just like all of the other fast food chains that are trying to catch McDonald's and have for decades after decades.
So what we're trying to do, this is the format of the presentations that we're sharing when we go around to the various beauty shows that we're training, is to get the attendee in the beauty industry to understand the difference. We're not knocking the fact that you do have to have a technical skill, But what do you do? Can you get better and better? By sure, yes. However, what do you do? Do you apply it? Do you have principles that will actually help you to make sustainable income and go to the next level?
And at our presentation, Stephanie, we will definitely get those principles across to the individual. So when they leave our class, when they leave our presentations, then they have a structure in mind. They are not going to just hear figures, but
Yes,
they're actually going to be able to see how we arrived at those figures and how they're attainable for themselves. Because after all, as I tell people in my presentation, and I've definitely heard you tell them in your presentation, we definitely aren't any better than anybody that's sitting in there. We don't have any superpowers. You know, neither one of us are PhDs, or neither one of us have an IQ that is so higher than anybody that's sitting in our class. So the bottom line is, if you and I can achieve it, then our students who are sitting in our presentation definitely can achieve it also.
so true. So that's what we want to share with you during this video series of overcoming the obstacles in the hair loss industry. So with that, I think we'll conclude today's video. I'm Stephanie Anderson, and I'm with Mr. Rodney Barnett. Until the next time, take care and be blessed. Bye.